Here we go. Okay, we're starting to record. Let's share the screen. Here we go. All right. So because Shabana probably hasn't seen this, Shabana, if you have seen it, let me know. Uh, I'm going to share some nice. Maybe you have seen some of them, but I added more a little bit here and there. This is the exhibits. I think it's very important for us to remind ourselves of these stuff. Okay,
Yes,
first,
yes,
you have seen this one, right? How about
yes.
you? How about you, Gabby? Have you? Did I share this with you guys? With you?
No, I
No.
don't think
Okay.
so.
So then I'm going to share. All right. So this one is titled "How Did Egoic Mind Come into Being?" And this is my dad taught me this, but all the most of the Sufis and most Sufis have the same idea. Maybe they changed the name. So here we see how the ego, because we are dealing with the egoic mind, so we want to know it, so we know to learn how to deal with it. Uh, Here we go. So a human beings was made up of God's spirit plus human body made up of soil and stinking mud. This stinking mud is a word from Quran, so it shows us the potential. These are all symbolic. It doesn't mean that we made of stinking mud. It's all symbolic. All the faith, all uh, uh, spiritual path, they talk in terms of uh, abstract and uh, symbolic language. So we basically, that means we have the potential of the highest potential, the highest place we can go is God, because the essence is from God, the spirit, and the lowest is soil and a stinking mud, which is the lowest of the low. So we have the potential of going from the stinking mud to God, the spirit. That's the range. The range is really large, right? Big. And then, then excuse me, then it says the human being, after human being made of the combination of these two things came out of it: soul, which took after God's spirit, and egoic mind or ego, or different word for it. Ego, your ego in English, ego is very well known, uh, which is I, my name, my belongings, and my identity. So, and egoic mind took after soil and a stinking mind, a stinking mud. I'm sorry, stinking mud. So, egoic mind is anything related to I and me and my. This is egoic mind. It's a concept in our head. It doesn't exist. Egoic mind or ego is 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 not real. It's a picture. It's an imagination. It's an illusion. That's the word. The best word is illusion. It's an illusion which is made up of moving of thoughts. When the thoughts are moving through our mind, egoic mind or ego is created, which is an illusion. It's like you go to a movie theater, what you see on the screen is not real, right? If you see people are uh, on the horse coming toward you, they're not really coming toward you. That's a picture. That's an illusion, and that's the same thing. Ego is an illusion, and just think about it: that we have been bound by an illusion. We are bound and we are controlled by an illusion. That's just pathetic for us as human to be controlled by an illusion. We should be controlled by this God spirit, which is real, capital R, which exists. Egoic mind doesn't exist. And in Islam, since I know, since I was born in the faith, I know he says, when he says La ilaha illallah, means there is no God, means there is no ego, there is no mind, there is nothing, but there's God's spirit or the soul. Everything else doesn't exist. It's an illusion. Now, from egoic mind, uh, two entities was born: lust for everything and pursuing likes, anger and rejecting dislikes. This is the thing which comes out of egoic mind, and the Sufis teaches us for moderation. We have to keep it in moderation. We need uh, to pursue likes and reject dislikes, but in moderation. In moderation. If we don't have these, we won't exist. So this is a good definition and a good illustration of egoic mind for us to be able to deal with it, because we are dealing with this thing every day and it's an illusion, right? Now, the next thing I would like to share with you is attachment to temporary thing, to temporary things. What happens when we attach? Then, because before we were born, we had no attachment. There was nothing in the core. As soon as we came to this world, the attachment came into our core. So what happened is, when you get attached to temporary thing, you we are bound by time. We have material intelligence, and we create past and future. Past and future is the result of the egoic mind and ego. If it wasn't ego, you wouldn't have past and future. The mind makes past and future as a point of reference, that this event happens before this event. That's what it is. By the way, uh, this is not only Sufis. The psychologists have the same idea. So when we get attachment in, we put attachment in our heart, we get sense of security, guidance, power, intellect, and intelligence from those attachments. Now, as soon as we put the attachments and we get these things from it, three things, these two things gets comes out: uh, resistance and judgment. We resist to the stuff that we don't like, and we judge everything. When you have attachment, you judge stuff and events in our life based on the attachment. If I have attachments to money, I judge people with money as good people, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I am attached to fame, I think famous people are good people. They might be the most horrible person in the world, by the way, but that's what my judgment says to me. So that's what the problem with the attachment. Now, as soon as we get rid of the attachment and we put nothingness in our core, then we are detaching from the temporary things. Here we were attached because these guys, if you contrast, you get it. It's good to contrast. That's why I have both of them here. So we had material intelligence in this, in the attachment. When we had the attachment, here we have spiritual intelligence. That's a big difference. Material intelligence to run our lives, what you have to do, what kind of a job I have to get, with this material stuff. But the spiritual intelligence is what I need for my soul, for the God's spirit. The stuff, Rumi says, the stuff that satisfies your material part is cursed for your spiritual part. That's Rumi. Now, when you have this, then you get sense of security, guidance, power, and intellect and intelligence from nothingness, which is nothing in the core. Then these two attributes come to you, patience and abstinence. I'm sorry. You get patient and you're abstinent from stuff which remove patience from you, and you have gratitude and abstinence. So abstinence comes with things. What's abstinence? To move away from stuff, from things which attaches you. That's abstinence. So this is basically two opposite sides of our being. One, we are attached to stuff and attachment, and this one we are detached. Now, this is the myth of egoic mind, which is based on attachment, based on this, but we add uh, these guys to it. Now, this part we already talked, right? We already know about this. Now, these when you are we say the myth of egoic mind, because as we mentioned before in this uh, exhibit, uh, egoic mind is an illusion. It doesn't exist. It's an illusion. So here, that's why we call him a myth. The egoic mind is a myth. It does not exist. Now, what happens here? We already talked about this. What other things we get? We get past and future, which we talked. We get resistance and judgment. Now, when you are trapped, when we are trapped in the myth of egoic mind, we create obstacles and looking for them. That's the job of the ego. That's its job. It creates, if there is no obstacle, it creates one and look for them, because ego exists when there is an obstacle. When there's no obstacle, the ego doesn't exist, and ego wants to exist, right? That's the job for the ego. We create problems and looking for them, and we're creating enemies and looking for them. Look at every individual, every egotistical individual that you see. They always have problems, the enemies. They always have obstacles. They always have problems. This just comes with the territory. When you have ego, you have these things. It comes together. And then that's the truth of being human. That's where we want to travel from here in the in the spiritual journey travel path. We want to go from the myth of egoic mind to the truth of being human. Now, in this situation, as which is the continuation of here, we have nothingness of in our core, so we get sense of security, guidance, power, and intellect and intelligence from nothingness, and all the attachments were pushed out. It's not in our core. We pay attention to them. Yes, we need money. Yes, we need security. Yes, we need our family. Yes, we need a spouse, but it's not in our core. It's out. It's been pushed out. And with these things we talked about, patience, abstinence, gratitude, abstinence, we have eternal present. In this situation, we are always in the present. We don't go to the past or future. We are always in the present, and we have spiritual intelligence. We have joy without a cause. We have enthusiasm for creation and ability to create. And one and this side I forgot to add, this is acceptance. In this side, it's acceptance to the event of this moment. We accept the event. Now, accepting event, doesn't mean we don't want to change it. Acceptance means we are okay with it. We are open to it. Basically, we are open to it. We acknowledge it, but we can change it. Okay, so this is what I wanted to share with you. I think it is important. Now let's go back to, let me close this one. Let's go back to our poem, which is this poem. And I'm going to read the poem, and then we're going to go from the places that we stopped the last time. This is poem number 2733 from Divan Shams, which is the love poems of Rumi. And so I'm going to read the Persian for you to get the music of it, and the words are sacred. In case of Rumi, the words are very sacred. He uses words very uh, uh, intelligently and purposefully. ای وصل تو آب زندگانی، تدبیر خلاص ما تو دانی. Oh, connecting to you is the water and essence of my life. You know the way and direction to my liberty. So here it says that we are imprisoned, right? We are trapped. That's why he talks about liberty, right? And connection to the unit, to the source of life, as is essence of our life. Connection to the master of the universe is the water and essence of my life. Why it says water? Because as you know, everything is alive from water, right? In Arabic they say من الماء كل شيء حي. From water everything is alive. از دیده برون مشو که نوری، ز سینه جدا مشو که جانی. Please don't move out of my vision, because you are the light of my life. Please don't leave my heart, because you are my life. So he's talking to the beloved and telling him, you are the bright light of my life, and you are my heart, and you are my life. آن دم که نهان شوی ز چشمم، می نالد جان من نهانی. When you hide from my eye, I'm crying in my heart, in my loneliness. من خود چه کسم که وصل جویم، از لطف تو هم همی کشانی. Who am I to connect to you? You are the one that with your grace and blessing attracts me and connects me to your core. Here Rumi tells us that we cannot connect to the source if the source doesn't want us. The source has to attract, and obviously the source always wants to attract, because we are from his essence. as you see in that first the egoic mind exhibit, we he put he has given from his soul to us, from his spirit. So absolutely he wants to attract us because he wants to because we are from his essence, so he wants to take his essence back to himself, right? That's uh, that's another ayah from Quran. It says, "Inna lillahi wa inna ilahi raji'un." We are from God and we are going back. That's it. We are from God means we are from His essence. ای دل تو مرو سوی خرابات هرچند قلندر جهانی. O heart, don't attempt to destroy your ego by yourself, although you are a saint of the world. Basically, here Rumi says you cannot destroy your ego by yourself. It's not possible. The same thing as here, that attraction is from the other side. Your blessing and your grace is getting me, is attracting me. I cannot destroy my ego by myself. Ego cannot destroy, cannot eliminate ego. There is a proverb. It says that the knife cannot cut its own handle, right? You cannot. کانجا همه پاک باز باشند. ترسم که تو کم زنی بمانی. Because over there, everybody is ready to lose and gamble all they have for their salvation. I'm afraid you are not strong enough to accomplish this goal. All right, he just says, don't go by yourself. Because over there, people who got there, they didn't go by themselves. They were attracted by the source, and and they and they and they gambled everything. ورزانک روی مرا تو با خویش در پوش نشان در پوش نشان بی نشانی ورزانک روی مرا تو با خویش در پوش نشان بی نشانی. Don't attempt this road with your ego and self. Wear the clothing which has no sign of self and ego. It's basically he's a poet. He says things in different ways so we understand it. He tries to elaborate so we get it. Because one time usually we don't understand. He repeats himself here. Still we don't get his true ideas. مانند سپر مپوش سینه گر عاشق تیر آن کمانی. Don't cover your chest with a shield if you love that bow. Bow, right? Bow, right? Bow. If you love that bow. If you love the bow, do not cover yourself. So if he wants to, if universe is the master God, life wants to catch you, wants to hunt you, do not cover yourself. Let him hunt you, because that's the best thing. And I think I mentioned that before. Rumi in another place says nothing is worth hunting for but God, and God cannot be hunted. You got to be hunted by him, because basically what he's saying that if when you want to hunt something, if say you love somebody, you want to hunt them, it works for the case of men a lot. They want to hunt a beautiful woman, so they go after her and they want to bring him to themselves. Imagine that uh, if you love God and you want to bring him to bring her to you, let's say in this case, God is beautiful. Um, you cannot do that because he's not huntable. You let her hunt you because you want to be next to her, and it doesn't matter how it happens, right? Just let God hunt you. Basically, that's what he's coming from this one. پرسید یکی که عاشقی چیست گفتم که مپرس از این معانی. One asked me what is loving and I told him don't ask this type of question because the question cannot be answered. Rumi says the words cannot describe love. He says in other places, he says when it comes to love, the pen broke. It couldn't take it. It couldn't handle it. آنگه که چو من شوی ببینی آنگه که چو من شوی ببینی آنگه که بخواندت بخوانی. When you become like me, then you will see. When he calls and searches for you, then you will cry out for him. Basically, here Rumi says he has to cry for you. He has to call and search for you. And he's always doing it. God is always you doing it. We are resisting, and we are uh, don't allow uh, him, God, to uh, search for us. مردانه درا چو شیر مردی، دل را چو زنان چه میتپانی. Be a man of courage and start your spiritual journey. Why is your heart so weak and racing and pounding due to fear and anxiety? In this road, this path of completion and spiritual growth, come like a, be courageous and start as soon as you can. Don't delay it. Don't procrastinate. And why you're so weak and have fear and anxiety, because most of us, when we want to go to this path, because uh, God will going to take some things from us, we are scared, we are anxious, we are fearful. Oh my God, I'm going to lose this, I'm going to lose that. Rumi says, don't worry, come over, don't be scared. Whatever he takes from you, he gives you millions time more. ای آنکه تو باغ و بوستان را از جور خزان همی رهانی. Oh, you are the one that liberates and frees gardens from the hardship of autumn. He said he's now talking to God, to the beloved. ای داده تو گوشت پاره ای را در گفت و شنود ترجمانی. Oh, you are the one who gave a piece of meat the ability to talk, the tongue, and listen, tongue and ear. These are, Rumi says, your tongue doesn't talk. Your tongue is an instrument. It doesn't talk. The spirit talks. The soul talks. The soul hears. But these are the means. These are the tools for that purpose. As a matter of fact, Rumi says that the spirit, the soul, is hiding behind these uh, tools. He wants to hide itself. ای داد زبان انبیا را با سر قدیم همزبانی. Oh, you are the one who gave the prophets the ability to understand the secret of eternity and communicate this secret with others. ای داد روان اولیا را در مرگ حیات جاودانی. Oh, you are the one who gave the spiritual master in death the eternal and everlasting life. You know, the uh, there is a saying from Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He says, "Die before you die. Die before you die. Die before your biological death." That's what Rumi is referring here. ای داده تو عقل بدگمان را بر بام دماغ پاسبانی. Oh, you are the one that protects the intellect with the inquisitive mind. ای آنکه تو هر شبی ز خلقان این پنج چراغ می ستانی. Oh, you're the one that every night takes the five senses from people in sleep. In sleep, you don't hear, you don't talk, you don't smell, you don't. So you basically, uh, God takes these senses from us, so we can be rest. We can rest, so we can get ready for the day after. ای داده تو چشم گل رخان را مخموری و سحر و دلستانی. Oh, you're the one that gave the eye of stunning girls the enticing and attractive beauty. All the beauty is God from God. Uh, all beauty is from God. Every beautiful thing in this world, uh, God has loaned His beauty to that entity. ای داده تو عشق را به قدرت مردی و نری و پهلوانی. Oh, you are the one that gave love its strength and courage and bravery and heroism. این بود نصیحت سنایی. جان باد شو طالب عیانی. This was the advice of Sanai, which is another famous Sufi master, which Rumi respects a lot. Gamble and lose your life if you want to see the beloved with your eyes. Now, this is not your real life. This is your illusion. This is your egoic life. This is your ego. He says, lose that ego so you can see the beloved with your eyes. شمس تبریز نور محضی زیرا که چراغ آسمانی. Oh, you Shams from Tabriz, you are the pure light because you are the illumination of the sky and heavens. Shams Tabriz, as you probably know, was the guru, was the qutb, as we say in Arabic and Farsi, of Rumi, and that's it's a symbolic thing. It's a light in everybody. It's like because Shams uh, uh, means sun. Okay, we did these guys, so I'm gonna go to the place that we stopped. And by the way, for you, Shabana, you can start very well. It's Rumi. It's an ocean. You can start anywhere, and you're going to be fine. All right, here we go. We were here last time up to here. Okay. تخم اول کامل و بگزیده است. تخم ثانی. Okay, let me see. Let me start from here. It's okay because it refers to these three verses. گر بروید ور بریزد صد گیاه عاقبت بر رویدان کشته اله. Though in the meanwhile 100 herbs grow and fade, there will grow up at last that which God has sown. So it seems that God planted, it's here Rumi indicates that God planted a, an herb in us, which is the original, herb. Uh, and he says, then we come and we, with our attachments, we plant new herbs on top of it. And Rumi says, even you plant 100 new herbs, they will grow, but they'll fade. They're temporary. They will go. They will fade, and they will grow up at last that God which has planted. The original one, the original plant that God has planted in you, that's the one which will grow and which will be permanent. Everything else is going to be temporary. کشت نو کارید بر کشت نخست این دوم فانیست وان اول درست. He, the cunning man, sowed new seed over the first seed, but the second seed is passing away, and only the first is sound and enduring. The cunning man is us. The cunning man is us. It says, you are growing and you're planting new seed on the top of the original seed. But remember, the second seed is passing away, is temporary, and only the first one is sound and enduring and permanent. The seed that God planted in us at the beginning, from the beginning of the time, that's the one who's going to stay. The rest will go away. تخم اول کامل و بگزیده است. تخم ثانی فاسد و پوسیده است. The first seed is perfect and chosen. The second seed is corrupt and rotten. That's what Rumi says. He says that everything, with all the seeds that we put after the first seed, is rotten and corrupt. It's temporary. It will fade. That's what we have to focus and pay attention to the first seed. That's the seed that God planted in us, the universe planted, life planted in us, and that's the good one. That's the permanent one. Everything else is temporary. Room indicated that you bring attachment to your core, they grow and fade. We need to go to the first seed. Now here is a verse from book 3, verse number 1359. ننگرم کس را و گر هم بنگرم او بهانه باشد و تو منظرم. So what we are doing here, by the way, this is all translation from the work of Mr. Shahbazi, who does a Persian, he does the teachings of Rumi on TV, and I asked for his permission. As a matter of fact, we had a meeting, a gathering last Sunday, and I asked him again, and he said, "You go ahead and use it." So I'm using his material with his permission, and he told us because we have a lot of Sufi teachers and Rumi teachers in Iran. They do it in Farsi because Rumi did his poetry in Farsi. We wanna. He told us that you guys who speak English, go and spread it among English speaking. That's why I'm doing this. ننگرم کس را و گر هم بنگرم او بهانه باشد و تو منظرم. I don't look at anyone but you, and even if I do look at anyone, he is only a pretext, and you are the real object of my regard. So Rumi says, I look at everybody, of everything. I am really want to look at you. These are all pretext. You are the object of my regard. See, that's unity. That's unity. That's seeing God in everything. And Rumi says, uh, the eye is the good eye is the eye who can see the king in every clothing, in every shape, in every form. Because in reality, Rumi says that everybody is a representation of God, a master of the universe, in different shape or form. عاشق صنع توام در شکر و صبر، عاشق مصنوع کی باشم چو گبر. I am in love with you, with your making, both in the hour of thanksgiving and in the hour of patience. Here it means blessings and unfortunate or undesirable events. How should I be in love like the infidel with that which you have made? I am in love with the maker, not with the made, not with what the maker has made. I look at the maker. I look at the creator. I don't look at the creation. That's what it says. Looking at creation is like looking like being an infidel. عاشق صنع خدا با فر بود، عاشق مصنوع او کافر بود. He that loves God making is glorious. He that loves what he has made is an unbeliever. Okay, God's making is that means the create the act of creation, the act of creation, not the created. That's what Rumi says. These are three verses 59, 60, and 69 from book 3. Opening the space allows God's making to work. Are you repeating the old patterns in your mind or allowing God's making to work? The work of egoic mind is wrong in wrong. Is wrong in wrong. But life's work is God's work, which is right and correct. I don't look at anything that my mind show, and if I do, it is a pretext, and life is the object of my regard. Therefore, if I encounter blessings or unfortunate events, it does not matter to me. I only open a space around the events and open my heart. So for the real Sufi, the good or bad does not matter. The opening of the heart, it does matter. It's happening, the event happens to allow us to open our heart. But in reality, we usually look at the event. At the same time, I know that who that loves God making is glorious and things will work out for him and the universe wisdom will manage his life. So whoever does look at the creation, the act of creation, and open the space in his heart, knows that the wisdom of the universe will manage his life. He doesn't worry about, he doesn't judge the event, doesn't say, oh, the event is bad, so I'm going to get hurt, I'm going to get in trouble, because that's not that's not why God brings the event. The way we see it in our mind, which is ignorant, is we judge it bad or good. But Rumi says that's not the reason that the events happens to you. It happens to you so you can open a space around it. Universe will manage his life. Who is unbeliever? The one who covers God and uses his mind. As long as we operate from our mind, we mess up our life and others. And every time we work from God's making, we not only organize our life better, but also help others to manage their lives better. I'm so sorry if there is, I mean, there is some misspelling. I didn't have the time to fix it. So here you understand what he says. Be, this is the most important, I think, from uh, I am in love with your making. In love with the creator, not not with the create what's being created. You see, I am in love with the action of creation because the event is the created. Because the event, because the universe has created the events to give us a message, and we get and we attach to to the event, and we focus on the event. But Rumi says, do not do that. Look at the creator. Look at the one who made the events. That's what we have to do. That's what he says here. Are you guys clear on this? Okay. هر لحظه هر ساعت یک شیوه نو آرد شیرینتر و نادرتر زان شیوه پیشینش. This is from his this is from Divan Shams, and I forgot to put the number. I'm sorry. Life, this moment and this hour brings a new way and pattern, sweeter and more unique from the previous one. We are in egoic mind, in our ego, we repeat the old patterns which are not working anymore. We learned it from others. We think it works. Rumi says, connect to the source. He will bring, every moment will bring a new pattern for you, a new thing. And each 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 pattern is beautiful, is sweeter than the previous one. So when you get connected, you are connected to the creator. So so you have the same, you create, you basically, you're a co-creator now. You're a co-creator. You are in connection to the creator, and things which happens in your life are sweet and new. The thought that come to you are not repeated old stuff. It's new. Every moment is new. Life every moment uses a new pattern and method and does not repeat the old and useless patterns. As long as we open our heart, our lives gets better and better. That's for the material and spiritual. Both of them gets better. Both of them. Because we, even in our material life, we go to the old patterns. Let me tell you an example of a pattern. They say, I learned from others when, since I was a child, that if somebody disrespects you, you do the same to them, right? That's what they tell us. Do disrespect. But that's old pattern. No, that's not. Let the universe and the wisdom of the universe tell you what you should do at this moment. At this moment, the moment brings its own solution. What we have in our mind is the old pattern, is useless, right? It's useless. از هر جهتی تو را بلا داد تا باز کشد به بی جهاتت. It brought you misfortunes from all directions. This is God's work. Until it takes you to the divine world, which has no direction. So just be aware that for all of us, that we're going to get misfortunes in our lives because God loves us. He wants to take us to the divine world which is has no direction. So we go in different directions with our minds and try different ways and realize that all of them end in pain. What is the life message? Don't follow the commands and directions of your mind. Please don't complain and don't say that you have no luck, and don't look at the appearance of people around you that pretend that they're happy, but they're miserable. They are people who have helped charities, but it's based on show off and boasting, and it's worthless. First, we have to come alive to life and operate from that source. Everything done from ego is worthless. That's what Rumi says. Everything from ego is worthless. Even good stuff from ego is worthless. Because by definition, ego cannot operate cannot make good things. It just doesn't. It hasn't been made for that purpose. Every good thing comes from your soul, from your God's spirit, which is in all of us. That's what we see from this poem. Another poem from book 3, 2994, 2994. مرد ایمان را بزن تا سر نهند، مرکر ایمان را بده تا بردهند. Attack the nasty ones, that they may bow their heads. Give to the noble, that may lay good food, that may yield, good fruit. Attack the nasty one, that may bow their heads. Give to the noble, that they may yield good fruit. لاجرم حق هر دو مسجد آفرید، دوزخ آنها را و اینها را مزید. Necessarily God has created a mosque for each of them, hell for those, and increase of bounty for these. For two people, for the nasty ones and for the noble ones. For the nasty ones is hell, for the noble ones is bountiness. Nasty ones are the ones who operate from their egoic mind. God will strike them until they surrender, but give to the ones who open their hearts and are noble, so they may yield good fruit, basically. Good fruit, I'm sorry. This is good fruit. I said fruit, sorry. In order to become a noble, we have to open a space in our heart. This is not nobility that you were born into. This is that the nobility you attain in this life by opening the space and opening our heart. We have to be noble based on life, because an egoic mind by nature is nasty and mean-spirited and stingy. We should evaluate ourselves and find out if we are noble or mean and stingy. Therefore, life out of necessity has created two mosques, two places, two spaces. One mind, which is hell, and the other open heart and a space, which is heaven and bountiful. So if we operate from our egoic mind, we are in hell. That's the space over there. That's the space of hell. If we operate from the source, from the soul, open heart and space is heaven and bountiful. You guys getting it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
ساخت موسی قدستر باب صغیر تا فرود آرند سر قوم زهیر. Moses built the Bab Sagir, and which is the this is an Arabic word, Bab Sagir. Bab means gate, Sagir means small. Bab, he using that word because it is a word from Quran, and Rumi uses the same word. Moses built the Bab Sagir, the small gate, at Jerusalem, in order that people tormented by evil passions and sick and oppressor might lower their heads. There is the small door, short door. So if you want to enter the door, you have to you have to lower your head to get in. I don't know if there is a movie I remember. I forgot the name, but it had a short door, and everybody who had to get in has to lower their head. زان که جباران بودند و سرفراز، زان که جباران بودند و سرفراز، دوزخ آن باب صغیر است و نیاز. Because they were oppressor and arrogant, hell is like that Bab Sagir, or a small gate, and place of humiliation. Now let's read the explanation. He indicates, Rumi, that Moses made a small gate in the house of prayer. What is the meaning of a small gate? It means surrender, because it is hard to accept responsibility for our spiritual growth and accept that we are responsible and at fault for our pains and troubles. It's very hard for us, for an ego, to accept that it is his or her fault for what troubles that he or she is in. Ego likes to blame others. That's the job of the ego. My parents or people around me did cause these pain, but I was the one who caused them, right? So at the ego says, "Oh no, my parents and people did not cause this pain, but I was the one who caused them." Accepting this fact is like hell for ego, right? It's like hell because it's hard for ego to face the reality and accept that the troubles and pains is due to its own actions. Okay? It is hard to accept that we are ignorant. Although I am around 50 to 60 years old and I thought that I am the smartest person in the room, now I realize that I don't know much and should allow the wisdom of universe to manage my life. The moment that you accept it, not by saying, but really in your heart, is sincerely that you are wrong, we are wrong, and we allow the wisdom of the universe to run our life, to manage it, that's the moment of salvation right there. That's what Rumi says. To bow is not easy because I had the fantasy of perfection, but now I know that was all wrong and incorrect. You remember we talked about fantasy of perfection, right? Pendara Kamal, Rumi says. Pendara Kamal. Everybody, every ego thinks he or she is perfect and everybody else is below them. That's what ego is, right? It's over compares. Say, oh, I'm better than this person. Oh, I'm better than that. This is why Moses at Jerusalem made a short door, so whoever, small door, better word, so whoever wanted to enter the house had to lower their heads. Those people were oppressors and arrogant individuals who told Moses, "We don't even want to get off our horse. Now you are telling us to enter the house. We should lower our heads." It's like for now, I gotta get off my car, my Ferrari, my this, my that, my Mercedes Benz, and come down and lower my head to get into the prayer house. I'm not gonna do that. All egotistical individuals are sick and tormented by evil passions because that's the work of ego. Because they were oppressor and arrogant, like egoic minds, they were in hell. Hell is like a short door, small door, and it means that all that everybody, all need God's blessing. Everybody needs God's blessing. The message of pain is that you are operating from your egoic mind and have pain and will spread the pain around you. Okay? So the message of pain is that you are operating from your egoic mind and have pain and will spread the pain around you. So whenever you feel hurt, you feel pain in your heart, know that you're operating from your egoic mind. Because the true human being has joy without a cause. You remember in one of those uh, exhibits, it's joy without a cause. There's no cause for it. You're just joyful because you're alive, because you exist. These next three verses uh, is about people to claim that they don't need God's blessing and are self-sufficient. ناز کردن خوشتر آید از شکر لیک کم خواهش که دارد صد خطر. To show arrogance and pride is sweeter than sugar, but chew it not, for it has 100 dangers. When you feel, when you have arrogance and pride, it's sweet, right? You feel good about it. But he says it has a lot of dangers. Rumi says, ایمن آباد است آن راه نیاز ترک نازش گیر و با آن ره بساز. The place of safety is the way of emptying your core, abandoning arrogance and pride, and making up with being satisfied with that way, which the way of uh, abandoning arrogance and pride. That's where you are safe. That's what Rumi says. This is, by the way, book 544 through 546. ای بسا نازاوری ای بسا نازاوری زد پر و بال آخر الامر آن بران کس شد Vabal. Oh, many times one acted based on arrogance and pride, but in the end it became a burden, misery, and curse to that arrogant person. Basically, he says to Rumi here, arrogance and pride will bring you misery, burden, and curse. That's what he says. Arrogance and pride is sweeter than sugar, but you should not be like that because it has a lot of dangers. If you want to be in a safe place, abandon pride and arrogance, meaning opening the space in your heart and surrender. So if you have pride, because if as soon as you open the space, open your heart and surrender means that you are turning your back into your pride and arrogance, right? You're telling yourself that there is a, a bigger a bigger entity in this universe which I have to bow to. I have to lower my head. That's what it means. That's why Moses did it. He told them, in order to get into the house of prayer, you have to bow, you have to lower your head, you have to abandon your pride and arrogance. That small short door was a symbol of abandoning your arrogance and pride. Are you guys getting it?
Mhm.
Okay. عاشقان از بیمرادی های خیش با خبر گشتند از مولای خیش. Book 3, verse 44-66. By the failures to achieve success, the lovers are made aware of their Lord. So if we receive failure, that means the Lord wants you be to aware of Him, right? So nothing can defeat you. If it's good, it's good. If it's failure, it's good too, because the lover wants to made are made aware of the Lord, because the lovers and we are and the we are want to become a lover, right? That's why we study Rumi. So by their failures to achieve success, the lovers are made aware of their Lord. So failures are making us aware of our Lord. Is it very, isn't that good that you know your Lord by your failures? So this way nobody can defeat, nothing can defeat you, right? If this is the way that Rumi looks at life, if you look at it that way, you're not going to be defeated, because if you fail, it's good, because God wants me to be aware of him or her. بیمرادی شد قلاووز بهشت، حفت الجنه شنو ای خوش سرشت. Failure is a guide to paradise. Hear this, oh you the good-natured individual. Paradise is surrounded and encircled with pain. All right. So we should not be afraid of necessary pain. There is two kind of pains. There is necessary and unnecessary. Unnecessary pains is caused by ego. Necessary pain is caused by by spirit, by soul, by God's spirit, to teach us a lesson. Right? You have to you have to distinction. You have to distinguish. There's a lot different, very different, very different. As soon as lovers fail to achieve success, they get the message of life and don't get hurt. For example, if you wanted to go to park and it rained, so you felt failure. You love somebody and wanted to marry him or her, and she married somebody else. I was about to get hired for my favorite job or wanted to purchase a home and somebody else got it. If you get mad and feel hurt when these events took place, it means you had these in your heart and you have to let go of it. So God brings failure to let you know, to give you a message. Hey, you're attached to these things. You're attached to you were attached to the individual who you loved and he left you. You're attached. You're attached to his house that somebody else got it. Let go of attachment. If you want joy, you have to let go of attachment. Put me on your heart. Don't put these things in your heart. These things are not worthy of you. That's what God is telling us. Therefore, in every unfortunate matter, we should look for a message and learn from it. There is no medication would give you this kind of peace. Think about it. Think about it. It's a foolproof way. Rumi shows us a proof. I'm telling you, Rumi is really great. He did it. He told us he's going to tell us everything to be successful in our life, the material and the spiritual life. He's telling us everything, but we don't study him. We don't listen to him. He told us, he gives us a tool. We don't use it. Here's a tool. Nobody can defeat you if you have this kind of attitude. Nobody can defeat you. حفت الجنة بالمكاره و حفت النار بالشهوات. Heaven is surrounded. This is a prophet saying. Heaven is surrounded. Hadith we say in Farsi. Heaven is surrounded by undesired things, and hell is surrounded by greed. Here you go. And Rumi quotes prophet and Quran and all the spiritual masters. He doesn't say anything which is not right. Everything he says is true. Heaven is surrounded by undesired things, and hell is surrounded by greed. By the way, it's 8:03. You want me to go on or stop? You tell me. Because by schedule, I don't want to keep you longer than you're planning to be here.
Yes.
We go? We go, Abita?
You mean we call it a day? Yeah, up to here. I mean, unless we can have discussion if anyone has questions.
Okay, yeah, okay, go ahead. Yeah. So we should stop this, right?
Yeah.
All right, Bita is a good mobser, we say in Farsi. Mobser, we say mobser.
Timekeeper.
What you got?
Timekeeper.
Timekeeper, absolutely, you're the best timekeeper. Okay, any discussion, any question, any concern? I hope it was beneficial to you, ladies.
It was very beneficial, yeah, because then we learn how to never feel defeated. Because when things are going well, that's easy to be happy. So everyone knows that. So the difficulty is when things don't go as we wish, and still we can remain centered or grounded and not defeated. So it's all about our attitude, how we see things. And Rumi is helping us to see things in the right way, so we don't suffer and we always feel everything is working for us, because we can become more joyful, yeah, if we see things for what they are. Because things that are temporary, why are we so attached to them? They're just gonna come and go. They are temporary. That's the truth. Yeah, but it's not easy to practice. So you have to listen again and again and practice.
It's painful. That's good pain, It's very painful. You're absolutely right. It's very painful. But that's the only way out. It's the only way out. How about you, Gabby?
Yes, I think it's very difficult. It's very difficult to practice, but it's always good to be reminded how important it is to let go of the ego. This difference between the psychological world, what I think, what my ego makes me to think, and sometimes I think we are surrounded in this world by messages that this is sufficient, like science, like in this limited way, like rationality, all these psychological things, which I think they are temporary as thoughts. They come and go, emotional, psychological states. And we sometimes are so attached to this kind of thinking, or me at least, that I don't let this space. Well, I'm trying to practice. And I have some patterns that are like, as you mentioned, very useless and old-fashioned. And at least this brings me hope. I see myself in a very critical way every time that I attend to this meeting. But I think it's very good to be reminded and hopeful in this way that every moment we can receive a new pattern if we have this space in our hearts, and God is trying to give us this opportunity. Every second, the world can be created. So yeah, it's tough, but it's doable, inshallah, with the help of God.
Sure. God willing. Yes, ma'am. How about you, Shabana?
And I'm probably going to paraphrase this quote, but somewhere, and I don't even know if it was Shams the Breezy who said, don't forget to thank God for the things you didn't get, because we are so limited. We don't know why we didn't get, and maybe it's for our own protection that we didn't get those things, but we lament and we complain about things, that didn't go our way. So both Piera and Gabby saying the things that, we all sort of need to focus on. But yeah, it's the things, we need to just kind of step back and take it as it is, like, and not complain about it, because we can't see how we were protected from something that we desired so much until much later, or maybe never, but somehow we were protected. So that's the way I think.
Thank you. Anything else? So if you guys are allow me, we can stop the share, huh? And thank you so much for your attendance, and hope to see you on the next time, huh? Take care.
Yes,
Bye bye.
inshallah. Thank you.
Inshallah.
Good
Bye
night.
bye.
Yes,
Good night.
Bye.
thank
Bye.
you.
Bye
Have a
bye.
Thank you.
good
Bye.
night.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.